Adam's Calendar, a 300,000-year-old alien site in Africa. Hidden in the hills is a mysterious stone structure known only to a few. Vipin Dimri Historic Mystery reports Adam's Calendar, which may be the oldest man-made structure which is still in existence, was discovered recently in 2003, completely by accident. Johan Hein, a South African pilot, was flying above the Mpumalanga region, a hilly territory in the east of the country, when he lost control of his plane. Forced to make an unplanned landing, his plane crashed into a mountainside. Hein was miraculously unhurt and exited the plane to see 3 monolithic dolomite stones before him. These huge stones, weighing about 5.5 US tons each, were sticking out of the ground, and next to them was a giant circle made out of stone. This reminds us of Stonehenge and other areas, doesn't it? The site is in an extremely remote location with access restricted to a few rough roads filled with dirt. If the pilot had not crash landed and made the discovery, it's likely it would remain hidden to this day. But what Hein had found was truly extraordinary. The megalithic site appeared to be a truly ancient stone calendar, and in recognition of this extreme age, it was given the name Adam's Calendar. The African Stonehenge. What the pilot had found appeared to be the oldest artificial structure ever discovered. Some theories of the site date its construction to 300,000 years ago, way before any other evidence of human civilization. If the monument is indeed this old, it would rewrite human history and almost certainly require the involvement of a sophisticated culture to aid in its construction. Taking this as a starting point, some have theorized that ancient aliens were involved in its building. The site consists of another stone circle around 98 feet in diameter, 30 meters in diameter. Inside the circle are several monoliths arranged in a complex pattern. The general layout of the site appears to have been built in astronomical alignments, making the site a calendar. There are other structures and stone circles surrounding the site which are built with complementary alignments connected by a series of channels. Researchers believe these channels are rough roads to give access to Adam's Calendar. And these channels do not just connect to Adam's Calendar, but also many other ruins and ancient agricultural terraces in the landscape. 2 upright stones lie at the center of the circle with carvings upon them, and these stones, as well as much of the building material, appear to have been transported from a distance. The original shape of this calendar site is still discernible from aerial images, although not immediately obvious at ground level. You can only make them out from the air. The use of these materials and the apparent requirement to view the site from an aerial vantage point suggests that humans were not involved in its construction, but if there was some alien involvement long before civilization, then why was the site built there? One potentially significant point is that the area around Adam's Calendar is quite rich with gold resources. Mining shafts dot the landscape, and even today, the richest gold mine in the world is located in Mpumalanga, named the Sheba Gold Mine. Perhaps these were valuable resources for whoever built the calendar. Even today, this calendar works perfectly, as it allows people to track the time of day and year by following the shadow of the setting sun. The sun's shadow is cast by the taller monolith across the center of the flat stone beside it. Ignored and doubted. There was little initial interest in the archaeological community for this accidentally discovered by Johan Hein. It took a further 6 years for the discovery until archaeological investigations started on the site in 2009. By then, Hein had conducted his own review of the site. His early research found the configuration of stones to have 4 cardinal directions, indicating the solstices and equinoxes in a similar manner to Stonehenge. Geology studies, erosion processes over the stone, and the growth of lichens around the rocks, the moss that is, were helpful to scientists for calculating the estimated age of the site. Initial estimates of the site from some sources estimate that the calendar might be 75,000, 200,000, or as much as 300,000 years old. Research also uncovered sound frequencies which the rock formations receive from the earth underneath them. As technologies have advanced, scientists have successfully worked upon detecting the sound frequencies and measured them with acoustic properties. These frequencies have been traced to the earth underneath the area enclosed by the stone circles. This has led to the startling theory that these stones also conducted electricity, albeit in the manner we don't understand. The sound frequencies from the earth within those stones, from the resonant shape of flowers, they form the resonant shape of flowers, representing a form of sacred geometry within the landscape. The writer Michael Tellinger believes that this site is the oldest of all man-made structures, supposedly made by a vanished civilization. But as with all discoveries that challenge the status quo, there are alternative viewpoints which dismiss these theories. Some mainstream archaeologists believe the site is no more than 400 years old and that the stone circle is a cattle enclosure. While it may appear a plausible explanation, the size of the site and the complexity of the construction would not be expected in an agricultural setting. Much of the indigenous history of Africa is also unrecorded, which adds to the confusion as to this calendar. Keep an open mind. There's still a lot that people need to understand about Adam's calendar, and keeping that aspect in mind, the historians, researchers, and scientists are not stopping their efforts in extracting the deepest secrets hidden at this site. If it is a cattle enclosure, then why the complexity in construction? If an ancient calendar, then who built it only 15,000 years after Homo sapiens is known to have existed? Major research are being carried out to determine the civilization that built it, and upon that discovery, the researchers can continue to learn how that civilization lived and survived around the region way back in the past. This was originally by Historic Mysteries by Bipin Dimri on Collective Spark. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.